Welcome to another Nerdy Nummies. A big thanks to Nintendo for sponsoring this video. As you guys know, I love Mario, and March just also happens to be Mario month, so I thought it would be the perfect time to make a cake inspired by Princess Peach's castle. Super Mario Odyssey is one of my favorite Mario games, and Princess Peach has an adorable castle in the game. In Super Mario Odyssey, you can explore incredible places far from the Mushroom Kingdom as you join Mario and his ally, Cappy, on a massive globe-trotting adventure. Use amazing abilities like the power to capture and control objects, animals, and enemies, which help you collect power moons so you can power up the Odyssey airship and save Princess Peach from Bowser's wedding plans. Get her out of there. The sandbox-style 3D Mario adventure is packed with secrets and surprises, plus exciting kingdoms to explore. If you feel like playing with a friend, just pass them the Joy-Con controller. One player controls Mario while the other controls Cappy. Super Mario Odyssey is available at participating retailers as well as on the Nintendo eShop. If you'd like to check out the game, I'll put a link down below. All right, without further ado, let's get started. The cake that we're gonna be making today is a peach vanilla cake. It's gonna taste very similar to peaches and cream. I was thinking that would be a perfect flavor for today's cake, and it's also a cake flavor we've never made before. All right, so the first thing that you're gonna do to make this cake is we're gonna whisk together our dry ingredients in a large bowl. I'm gonna list all of the ingredients and their measurements in the description down below, so if you wanna follow along and make this recipe at home, you can. So in a large mixing bowl, we've got some cake flour, then we're gonna add some baking powder and a little bit of salt. Then whisk together till well combined. Next up, cream together your butter and sugar. I'm gonna be using an electric stand mixer just to make things a little bit easier. You can do this by hand, but it's a workout, you guys. I wouldn't recommend it. Just scoop the butter into the bowl. Remember, you want it to be at room temperature. You don't want it to be melted. Got our sugar. Mix together on a medium speed for about 3 to 5 minutes. You want your butter mixture to get really creamy, light, and fluffy. Mixture is looking good. Now add your eggs, the yolk and the egg whites. I'm gonna add my eggs one at a time, mixing in between each addition. And then 2 additional egg whites. And last but not least, a little bit of vanilla extract. Yum, 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 yum. Now mix together on a medium speed. Once the butter mixture is ready, we're gonna alternate adding our flour and our wet ingredients. This is peach nectar. It smells just like a peach. I mean, it just smells so strong, and it's a little thicker than juice. Start by adding 1/3 of the flour. Add a little flour, and then we mix it up. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, on a low speed. Alternate adding your flour in 3 parts and peach nectar in 2 parts. You're gonna start and end with flour. Our peach vanilla cake batter is all ready. We're gonna scoop it into pans. In front of me, I have 5 pans. I have 3 4-inch rounds, and then I have 2 6-inch squares. I've got a big scooper, and I'm gonna scoop 2 scoops of batter into each pan, which is about 1/2 cup each. And before you do this, you wanna make sure that each of your pans are greased and lined. I've lined the bottom with a little piece of parchment paper. Now with the remaining batter, we're gonna divide it evenly between these 2 larger square pans. Once you've got all the batter in the pan, I'm gonna take an offset spatula and smooth it out. Our cakes are ready to bake. You're gonna heat your oven to 350 degrees, and you're gonna bake these smaller cakes for 20 minutes, and these larger cakes are gonna take about 35 minutes, but just keep your eye on them. And you can bake them together at the same time. You're just gonna take these ones out first. Our cakes are now baked. We've given them plenty of time to cool, and now we're going to stack and assemble them. For all the cakes, I've leveled the top. You can use a sharp cutting knife or a cake leveler, and I've also cut the square cakes in half. In front of me, I have a square cake board and a turntable to make icing a little bit easier. And I'm just gonna couple little dollops down so that my cake will stick. Take the first piece of cake, place it right on top, kind of line it up. Oh, nice. In this piping bag, I've got some Swiss meringue buttercream. This recipe is from my cookbook, but there are so many delicious icings in the world. This one is my favorite. I'll put the ingredients and how to make it in the description down below. Also, because it's a meringue, it's really good at making sharp edges so that when we're decorating and stacking, it just makes things a little bit easier. Okay, so first we're gonna actually put a thin layer. We're gonna spatula this nice and flat, and then we're gonna add a couple scoops of peach preserve. Once covered, pipe an outline all the way around. So we're just gonna pipe like this. It's gonna act as a border or a fence to keep all of our yummy peach preserve in the cake. There we go. Woo, boop. All right, now I'm just gonna take a couple scoops of peach preserve and bloop, bloop, put it right on top. And using the back of the spoon, you can just spread it out. You just don't want the preserves to be taller than your border of icing. Oh, this is just gonna add so much delicious flavor into the cake when you bite into all these layers. It's gonna be so good. All right, now it's time for the next layer. I'm gonna take this cake, press on top, line it up, and press down. Then do the same thing to each layer. Put icing over the top, create a border, and fill in with preserve. Our square cake is now assembled. The layers are looking good. And now I'm gonna set it off to the side and we're gonna assemble our second cake, our second tier. To assemble this cake, we're gonna start the same way. We have a 4-inch round little cake plate. Place it on top of the turntable. I'm gonna put a little dollop. Bloop. We're gonna take this first cake, which we've leveled, place it on top in the middle. Then using some circle cookie cutters, we're gonna cut these cakes just a little smaller to look tiered. So here I've got a larger cookie cutter, here a smaller cookie cutter, and we're gonna place this one right in the middle of the cake and press down. This is so cool. Then remove the excess. Look, it looks like a happy face. Boop. Pop that little cake out, and we're gonna do the same thing with a smaller cookie cutter on this cake. Even though it's kind of tiered, we're gonna stack this just like the other cake. Cover the top, and then do a little border. Peach preserve. This will look a little messy, but that's okay, so am I. Now that all of our cakes are assembled, we're gonna cover the entire thing with icing. In the piping bag, again, I have some Swiss buttercream, and I absolutely love icing. This is so fun for me. I like to start at the top, cover the whole top of the cake with icing, give it a little boop, 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 spin around. Now that I've got some on the top, I'm gonna start at the bottom and work my way up. Apply pressure to the cake, and you're gonna wanna work all the way around. And keep moving up and up. Woo! Once covered in icing, you're gonna take a large offset spatula, and I like to put a little bit of gentle pressure and just woo, go all the way around. What I really love, and I think it's a pro tip, is using a scraper. Place it down on the side and gently, oh great, love. You can use the cake plate underneath to kind of guide you when you're putting pressure. And then on the top, what you can do with a spatula is pull towards you. And you go around. Because when you're icing around the cake, the edges kind of build upward. You take that upward edge and you just pull it towards you. Pull it towards you. Frosting. Come hither. Now the cake is iced. I also iced the second cake, and I placed them both on top of some cake plates just to move them around, make it a little bit easier. And the second cake, I kind of iced it to be a cone and flat on top, just like so. So now we're gonna pop these in the refrigerator to chill for 1 hour. While the cakes are chilling in the fridge, we are gonna make some rice cereal logs. Look at this. They're gonna be like the columns of the castle on our cake. A lot of the times when I'm making kind of elaborate cakes, I love to use rice cereal treats to make some of the elements. So you can buy them already made if you want to, but I would encourage you to use my recipe because it has a little bit more rice cereal to marshmallow ratio, and I found that it makes making these a little bit easier. Take your rice cereal treats out of the bowl. This is pretty neat, you guys. And then we get to use our hands, we get to get messy. We're gonna roll it here right on the countertop. Oh, this is so fun. People always say don't play with food, but not today, you guys. I'm telling you to play with your food. This is it. Using your hands, you're just gonna crunch it all together. You should hear all those little crunch, 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 crunch. Push the sides in. Just wanna pack it really tight. Once you've rolled your log, to make sure they're all the same size, you can take a little cookie cutter. This was 1.5 inches. And what you can do is when you think that they're about the same size, you just run the cookie cutter over the entire crispy tree and just push it through here. And then you'll know that they're all the same size. Once you've done that, cut them to be 5.5 inches long. Also, you want both the ends to be flat, nice and straight. Here we go. Make 4 of these. Next up is to cover these rice cereal columns in fondant, like so. And what I love about these is we've got some brick design going all the way around, and I'm gonna show you how to do this. In front of me, I have a piece of white fondant that I've rolled out. The height of it is the same as the column, so it's 5.5 inches tall and then 5 inches long. But before we cover it, we are gonna take this brick silicone mat. Look at that, it's got a brick pattern in here, and we're gonna press it into the fondant to make this design before we roll it. All right, let me get a little pan. The reason I like to use a pan to press down instead of your fingers is kind of spot healing, but this is a nice wide surface. And then we're gonna press down. Perfect. Pretty cool. Using these brick silicone mats saves so much time and creates beautiful texture in the fondant. Gently pick up the fondant, flip it over. Just be really gentle. You don't want to press down and lose your design. To get the fondant to stick to the rice cereal column, you want to add a little bit of shortening. So just take a little scoop, spread it all the way around. Ooh, slippery. All right. Take your column, place gently on top, and then roll. And then once you got that, you're gonna gently put it in your hand, because if you leave it here, you might lose some of the design. And you're just gonna lightly pinch together in the back. Gentle, gentle, gentle. And then if you have any excess at the top or the bottom, just take a sharp cutting knife and trim it off. But there you go. Boom! You're gonna keep doing this to all 4 of your pillars. And once you get these made, you know what they need? A little roof. Time to make some roofs using fondant. We're gonna make 4 small roofs and 1 large one. I'm gonna show you how to do it. Now for the small roofs over here, we're gonna have to make these little paper cones. What you do is you're gonna take a 4.5 inch cookie cutter, put it on top of a piece of paper, trace it, cut it out, and then cut it right down the middle, cut it in half, and tape them together, and that's gonna make these teeny little cones. Using some pinkish red fondant over here, you're gonna roll it out nice and flat and use that same cookie cutter and cut out a piece. Using a small knife, we're gonna cut in half, just like we did to make the cones. Then you're gonna take this half, put it right in the cone, and they're the same measurement, same size. Then you're gonna let them set. Just place them in anything. You want them to completely set before you put them on the cake. So we're gonna let these set for a while. For this larger cone, you're gonna do the same thing, but you're gonna need to use, whoa, look at this, an 8-inch cookie cutter. If you don't have an 8-inch cookie cutter, this is a very large one. You can use an 8-inch pan, like a baking pan or a bowl, anything you have around the kitchen that's about 8 inches, about this big. You're gonna trace it out on a piece of paper, cut it in half to make this little paper cone, and then you're gonna do the same thing with fondant. Now I'm gonna set these off to the side, and while they're setting and drying, we can make some other little pieces. Next thing that we're gonna make using the same color fondant are 5 little flags, because these flags are gonna go on the top of each roof. And we're not just making a cute little triangle flag, we're gonna make them wavy. First thing you're gonna do, roll out your fondant and then cut 5 rectangles. Once you've got your rectangles, you're gonna take a small sharp cutting knife and you're gonna cut 2 points, but you're gonna leave a little bit of room here at one side to be flat because we're gonna be sticking a little toothpick at the end. And that is very easy to do because all you're gonna do is you flip it over, and in this little bowl I have a little bit of egg white and a small brush. You're gonna paint on a little bit of egg white. This is gonna help it stick. Take a toothpick, place it on top, and wrap it around. And it will look like this. Here's the front of the flag, and there's the back. Once you've got that, I'm using lollipop sticks, but if you don't have lollipop sticks, you could use chopsticks, you could use skewers, anything you've got in the kitchen, like this. To make it wavy, you're gonna place one right at the start of the flag, and then one at the end, and then you're gonna place this one right down the middle. So the flag will go up and then down and then up again. Let it sit there, dry this way, and then boom, look at that, little wavy flag. These are gonna look so cute on top of the castle. Next up, we need a castle door. So you're gonna roll out a piece of brown fondant this time, and then a template that looks like a door, and we're gonna use it to trace it. I've made a piece right here so you can see what it's supposed to look like at the end. But before we cut it out, we're gonna create some texture using a curved fondant tool. And you're just gonna gently do some wiggles like this to create some texture to look like wood. Once you've created texture with your little tool, take your template, place on top, and using a sharp cutting knife, cut it out. Now to make a line right in the middle of the door, you don't want to press it all the way through, but you want a line down the middle. Now we're going to create some doorknobs. I've got some yellow, almost gold colored fondant over here, and you're just going to take a little pinch and roll 2 balls. Boop, 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 boop. Take a small brush, dip into your egg white, dab a little bit on the door, wherever you want to put those doorknobs. Place them down, gently hold. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. All right, and there you have it. We've got a castle door. Just let this dry completely. Now this decoration is made with fondant and some different colored royal icings. This decoration is inspired by the iconic, classic Princess Peach stained glass window on her castle. In front of me, I've kind of showed the stages of how to decorate. Start by cutting out an oval shape of fondant. Then, using a toothpick, you're gonna sketch your design. As you can see here, I've sketched a side profile of Princess Peach. Allow the fondant to harden and dry completely, and then for the next step, you're gonna be using the different colored royal icings and filling them in. Let's see if we can pipe the sleeve. Fill it in. Then she's showing a little bit of arm right here, a little sleeve. All right, now we're gonna pipe her little white glove. She's got those long, beautiful gloves. You just keep going until you've got it all filled in, and you're gonna let the royal icing dry before you put it on your cake. It's pretty set in about 20 minutes. The last fondant decoration that we're gonna make for the cake are these cute little windows. You just roll out some black fondant, cut small rectangles that are about the same size, and then round the tops. Now that we've got all of our decorations made, it's time to cover our cakes with fondant. Not just any fondant, textured fondant. Again, we're gonna be using the brick silicone mold. In front of me, I've rolled out some white fondant into a rectangle shape and then cut in the sides to look like a trapezoid. Now we're just gonna pick it up with our hands and wrap it around this little cake. And the reason we want it to be a trapezoid shape is because that's what is gonna fit around this little cone cake right here. All right, so here we go. We're just gonna pick it up. When you pick up fondant, you just gotta think in your head, it's gonna be fine. Just pick it up with confidence. Woo! And we're just gonna wrap it around. Woo, 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 woo. Just like that. So the back's a little tricky, but we're gonna focus on lining up the bottom. We will cut off the excess fondant, so don't worry about it. Take a little knife, just cut, cut, cut. All right, the cake is all ready and covered in fondant. I cut off the excess at the top, lined up in the back. You don't need to worry about the seam. So I'm gonna pop this in the fridge to chill while we do the same thing. We're gonna panel our square cake. Let's put on the last panel of this cake together. I've got our square cake on top of a cake board that I've covered with some green fondant to look like grass. It looks pretty neat. And I've got panels on the 3 sides with 1 side left. I thought we could do that together. I've got it cut out right over here. Boop, 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 doop. And I'm gonna take a little paintbrush, dip in egg white, and then just paint on the little sides here, the fondant to get it to stick. And I made these panels using the same technique, just rolling out fondant using that cute little brick silicone cutter. And boop, we're just gonna take this up. Here we go, here we go. And line it up and press on. We're not done yet. We need the roof. Take your little paintbrush. Again, just paint a little bit, just a little bit on the edges all the way around the top. With that same pinky red fondant, I've cut out a square to match the top of the cake. So we're gonna line it up here, place on top. I've got these long rectangle strips here, which are gonna go right underneath. And we have 3 more of these, so just keep adding them all the way around the cake. Last little step before we put the rest of the cake together, I've cut off 3 of the corners right here already, but I'm gonna do the last one with you guys. I've started here at the top. Just take your knife, and I'm just cutting down to make flat edge, because we're gonna stick one of the little columns on there. I'm cutting all the way down, and then I'm not gonna try to cut the board. I really love this part. I've got a little bit of royal icing in a piping bag. I'm just gonna pipe it in the center of the cake, just a little bit. Just pick it up we're gonna place right on top. There we go, now we're ready for some columns. We've got our columns or pillars, whatever you wanna call them, and now we're gonna stick them on the sides of the cake. Got a little royal icing over here, so you're just gonna pipe right here. I'm also gonna pipe on the bottom of the column. So I'm just gonna line this up, press into the cake, and press down. Do this to all 4 sides of the cake. Once you've got all the pillars attached to your cake, you can take a little brush if you want. This is totally optional, and kind of smooth out the icing on the sides. Time to attach the roofs. Got a little bit of icing here, so we're just gonna pipe some all the way around, and then we're gonna pop these out. Boop. And we're gonna pipe on the inner part of this little cylinder. Stick it on like that. Now we just need to attach the big one. We're gonna do the same thing, pipe an outline all the way around, and then on the inside we're gonna pipe a ring around just to help it stay in place. Boop. Look at that, you guys, we've got a castle. So cute! All of the other little designs that we're gonna place onto the castle are very straightforward. You're just gonna stick them to the outside of the fondant, but this little stained glass Princess Peach window is the only thing that's a little bit different, so I just wanted to show you what I've done is I cut out gently into the cake this oval shape, and then I'm gonna place this right inside because this is the buttercream and it's just gonna stick right to the buttercream, and I'm gonna gently and slowly push it in here because I don't want anything to crack. Are you kidding? Oh, peachy! All right, now I'm gonna stick on the rest of the details. Here's all the little decorations that we made that we're gonna put on the cake. And ta-da! Here is the cake we made inspired by Princess Peach's castle from Super Mario Odyssey. It came out so cute, you guys. I absolutely love it. Not only do I love the design, but I also love that the flavors of the cake match the cake. This peaches and cream recipe is delicious. Nom, 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 nom. So if you guys like the flavor combo of peaches and cream, you may love this recipe. I'll be taking lots of pictures, posting it all over social media, and just a reminder again, the recipe with all of the ingredients and the measurements will be in the description down below. I love how it came out. It is so cute. I've cut myself a little slice out of the back, and now, after all that hard work, I'm gonna have a little bite. Oh, look at all these layers. It just looks delicious. Mmm. Mmm, 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 mmm. The cake's got that little vanilla creamy, but a little bit of peach, and then you just get a punch of it with those in-between layers, a little. Oh, it's the perfect sweet and sour bite. Thanks for watching, you guys. Let me know in the comments down below, what would you like to see me bake next? And if you guys have any other ideas for any other nerdy nummies, leave me a comment down below and I will do my best to make it happen. All right, thanks again for watching, you guys. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, click subscribe, it's free, and ring the bell to receive notifications every time I post a new video. And again, a big thanks to Nintendo for sponsoring this video. And a reminder, Super Mario Odyssey is available at participating retailers as well as on the Nintendo eShop. If you'd like to check it out, I'll put a link down below. All right, thanks again, you guys. Bye-bye.